Hey guys, we are back. And yeah, we are watching this, continuing watching this. I want to build my thing. Uh, Generally, it takes me on a week to develop a full stack application. He's doing it in 10 hours. So I thought it's much better for me to watch once and learn how to code faster.
Way to fix it. Build your own project, I guess, is the best suggestion. Goal and intermediate project ideas. I think don't like mindlessly type. Think more like when you're typing, as in like how do you do it better? Don't just sit and like code whatever you think is the first thought inside your head. Maybe think about it more. Think about how it can be improved if the project that you're working on is like used for longer term. Maybe that's what you like. That's something that will set you apart, right? Even if you are coding like your personal project, try to think in the terms that can make it more scalable. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it at work. Agreed. If you cannot do it in your personal project, if you cannot make your personal project scalable, how will you do it? Like diving into someone else's code. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Any more questions? Already got it here. Thank you, Pash. Thank you. काम करो. Cool है भाई लोग शुरू करें अब ठीक है जी. The next part of code is going to be very fast coding. I've already opened the issue, so you should try it yourself also. The issue is this one. I guess first step to do is, yeah, there you go, someone already created an issue for it. Initialize Prisma in the project. So let's quickly do that. How do you initialize? Oh, seriously, sorry. How do you initialize Prisma in a mono repo? Does anyone know? We have covered this exact thing last week. In the cohort, so I'm assuming it's very simple. Add a new package here called db, or call it Prisma, call it store, whatever you want to call it. In the db project, initialize package.json, so npm init -y to initialize an empty package.json. Add a tsconfig.json, which again extends standard things we've already done them once. So extend add repo slash typescript config slash base.json, and add it as a
I was doing this blockchain thing. Let's see. OXX was. I think this is a bot and they are trying to scam me. But let's just. Yeah. Okay, so already.
dependency here. So um, add repos, which again extend npm init call it Prisma in the cohort. So I'm assuming it's very simple. Also the already got it here. Thank you, Pash.
Are they just trying to make me use OKX? Seems like that.
काम करो. Cool है भाई लोग शुरू करें अब ठीक है जी. The next part of code is going to be very fast coding. I've already opened the issue, so you should try it yourself also. The issue is this one. I guess first step to do is, yeah, there you go, someone already created an issue for it. Initialize Prisma in the project. So let's quickly do that. How do you initialize? Oh, seriously, sorry. How do you initialize Prisma in a mono repo? Does anyone know? We have covered this exact thing last week. In the cohort, so I'm assuming it's very simple. Add a new package here called db, or call it Prisma, call it store, whatever you want to call it. In the db project, initialize package.json, so npm init -y to initialize an empty package.json. Add a tsconfig.json, which again extends standard things we've already done them once. So extend add repo slash typescript config slash base.json, and
add it as a dependency here. So and do a global pnpm install to install all the dependencies or like link the dependencies. Then go to the db package, do a npm or pnpm add Prisma to add Prisma as a dependency. What is Prisma? Prisma is the ORM that we're using. What is an ORM? It lets you easily interact with the database. What is the database? There you go. Once you add Prisma as a dependency, do a npx Prisma init to dependencies or like JSON, which again extends standard things we've already done them once. So extend at repo slash TypeScript JSON and add it as a dependency here. So
Uh,
and do a global pnpm install to install all the dependencies or like link the dependencies. Then go to the db package, do a npm or pnpm add Prisma to add Prisma as a dependency. What is Prisma? Prisma is the ORM that we're using. What is an ORM? It lets you easily interact with the database. What is the database? There you go. Once you add Prisma as a dependency, do a npx Prisma init to initialize an empty schema. So Prisma slash schema dot Prisma. Here we'll be writing the Prisma of our project. Sorry, schema of our project. Before we do that,
yeah, so I haven't used Prisma anytime. So when I do it, this would take me time. So, and I think Prisma has gotten very popular. I've been using different schemas, but different ORMs, but not Prisma. But Prisma has gotten very popular. So I think I should shift to Prisma.
let me quickly link it to the. Actually, let's write the schema first because if you don't write the schema, you all will start to build the backends for different schemas. That's not good. So let's quickly finish the schema of our project. What should it look like? We should have a users table for sure. We should have an admins table. We already decided that if you remember. So model user, model admin. The user table will have an ID field, which is a string. Have
When did
build the
you do?
schema. So Prisma slash schema dot Prisma. Let's write the schema first because project. What should it look like? We should have a users table for sure. We should have an admins table. We already decided that. UUID, and this is an ID. Username, string. Oh, sorry, phone number is what our primary key is. So number is fine, I guess. String, unique. You can't have multiple users of the same number. Name, string, and there should be a first name, last name, but that's fine. The very important thing here is going to be verified. So when a user signs up, right, we put an entry in the users table, but we set verified to be false. So we can also add, at default false. And for admins, let's do a simple username, password, login. Again, admins will be creators, comedians who will create events. So phone number is fine. I guess phone number is fine. We have a similar workflow in that case. There are nothing too complicated here. Admin looks exactly the same as users. There's always merit to doing this. Like you can always have a users table which has another, a flag over here called role, which can either be admin or user, but generally a good idea to have separate tables for admins and users. Then there is going to be events. So a single event is going to have an ID, then the name of the event, an image for the event, whatever, let's call it the banner. This will change. Like every event will have more and more complicated metadata, like side image, up image, title image, description, so on and so forth. So I'll be clear another time, but eventually we can make this more based on how the events page looks and what all we have to add there. What else? Model event is there. Then bookings, where a single user who has made an entry for, or not an entry, a user who has made or bought a specific course. So let's call it purchase. Let's call it booking for now. Let's have another purchases table for every payment or payments table, every payment that the user makes. Let's sort of go into this table. Yeah, this gets important. Like you should have a track of all the payments. A lot of payments will not lead to bookings. If someone pays 20 minutes after they were generated a link, we will fail that payment. So payment. But if you made the payment after 20 minutes, then of course we will still receive your money. We will of course refund it. But we'll have an audit log in this payments table so that we know every failed transaction as well. So same, it'll have an ID. It'll have a event ID, which will again be a string. It'll have a user ID, which will again be a string. And it'll have a status, which could be it will be an enum. It can either be success, fail, or pending. Let me add another thing. Let's not add that. And every booking will again be similar. Event ID, user ID.
Uh,
It will be an enum. It can either be success, fail, or pending. Let me add another thing. Let's not add that. And every booking will again be similar. Event ID, user ID, and God, the schema will get complicated because a single show can have multiple types of tickets. So you have a VIP, a fan pit, so on and so forth. So let's add another model called seat type. So seat type, which is valid for a specific event ID, and it will have a specific price associated with it. It will be a number or whatever integer. What else will a seat type have? The name of the seat, like VIP, fan pit, so on and so forth, and maybe a description. Okay, with this seat, you get access to meet Karan Aujla face to face. Sure. That looks good. Yeah, seat type payment state booking. So every booking will be for a specific type of seat. Seat type, and no, it'll be a little more complicated. I can make a single booking where I want to book one seat of VIP, one seat of fan pit, so on and so forth, right? So every booking will have a bunch.
I like how harkirat does not take that much time. I don't know if it is a good thing or a bad thing, but he does not take a lot of time thinking about stuff. Um, for me, that becomes a very big bottleneck where I just think, and that thinking process takes me like days, and then I implement it, which takes me like a few more days. So that's how I go about my week. Uh, that's how I complete a project in a week. But he can do it in a day because he just thinks and writes, thinks and writes, thinks and writes. So though I don't know how successful, like how quality the product becomes, because I can see that his product is not that quality, but it's fast, and a lot of companies want fast rather than quality.
Of seats that this person booked. So model seat, which will have an ID, and every booking will have a bunch of seats that the user books. So ID of the seat, the type of the seat that this user bought. This will be a seat array. So I'll come to relations very soon. Before that, let me just add this. Seat will have an ID, a type, which is seat type. Yeah, that looks it's a model, right? So it will mostly be seat type ID. So now, if you've done basic database schemas before, hopefully this is digestible. If you have not, then I totally get a lot of things are happening here. But let me talk through one of. So it will mostly be seat type ID. So now, if you've done basic database schemas before, hopefully this is digestible. If you have not, then I totally get a lot of things are happening here. But let me talk through one of them quickly. First part, I'm assuming is simple. There's a users table and an admins table. A user has these fields, and admin has these fields. So simple enough, nothing to complicate here. Then there's the events table. A single admin can create an event. A single user can buy a bunch of these events. So every event should actually have a admin ID. Okay, who exactly created this event? Was it Sami? Was it a different comedian? So every event will have an admin ID who generated the specific event. Booking, a user can create one or multiple bookings. A single booking will belong to a specific event and belong to a specific user. And each booking will have a bunch of seats associated with it. So that is one relationship we have to create. We haven't yet. So every booking will have a bunch of seats associated with it. You can write relationships in Prisma like this. We'll come to what relationships are very soon. But every booking, may you have a bunch of seats. So every seat has a bunch of has a booking ID it is associated to. A seat is associated to a booking ID. नहीं समझ आ रहा, मतलब, ठीक है, I get this complicated. Let's put this in a visualize and understand it a little bit better. But whenever you make a booking, you book, let's say, 5 seats, 2 VIP seats, 3 normal seats. So all of these will go over here. Okay, you have one ID over here, one entry over here for the seat ID. The reason it's, if I have 5 seats, I could have had a single row in a database with number equal to 5. But it's a good idea to do this so that every seat can have its own QR. So every seat that you buy will have a QR code associated with it, and every QR code you can stringify. So this is good because if you make a booking and you have 5 seats, you have 5 QR codes that you can share with your friends, or you can have 5 invoices that you can share with your friends, and you all can individually enter the event. So there's a scanning machine over there, right? So that is why every booking will have multiple seats. Every seat will have a single seat type. It will have a corresponding booking ID. कि I belong to this specific booking. हरकिरत ने जो करण औजला की टिकट बुक की थी, उसकी 2 सीटें ही रही ऐसा. And payments is completely separate. We have an audit log of every payment that happens. Some of these payments are corresponding to a specific booking that has been made. Some of these are just failed payments for a booking that did not succeed. And lastly, I added an enum here because payment can have only one of 3 states. So that's the high level schema. If you want to visualize this better, there are Prisma visualizers out there. Even though they don't show relationships very well, honestly, तो इसको मैं paste कर भी दूंगा तो कुछ समझ आएगा नहीं.
Um, I wish I it wasn't a scam.
Let me still show you. Um, yeah, I don't know if this is very easily visualizable, honestly. But okay, there you go. Something is there. Um, well, I haven't added any relationships, which is why, yeah, there you go. You don't see any, arrows between them. So let's add the relationships now. As you can see, there's a line between them, right? This status is part of this enum, which looks like this.
Small
There are a lot of
ISO.
relationships here as well. Every booking has an admin ID. kahan gayi? Sorry, every event has an admin ID, right? That should show an arrow over here. That arrow does not admin them, right? But lastly, I added an enum here because payment can have only one of three states. So that's the high-level schema. If you want to visualize this better, there are Prisma visualizers out there. Even though they don't show relationships very well, honestly, so इसको मैं paste कर भी दूंगा तो कुछ समझ आएगा नहीं. But let me still show you. Um, yeah, I don't know if this is very easily visualizable, honestly. But okay, there you go. Something is there. Um, well, I haven't added any relationships, which is why, yeah, there you go. You don't see any, arrows between them. So let's add the relationships now. As you can see, there's a line between them, right? This status is part of this enum, which looks like this. There are a lot of relationships here as well. Every booking has an admin ID. kahan gayi? Sorry, every event has an admin ID, right? That should show an arrow over here. That arrow does not come right now because I haven't described this relationship. I haven't told Prisma this admin ID is a foreign key over here. What are foreign keys? Read SQL. But the way to define relationships in SQL is through these foreign keys. So that is why it's a good idea for us to do the following. Sorry, one important message came that I should look at. Live stream until 6 p.m. Can do tomorrow. All right. So I have the schema. The one thing that's missing here is relationships. So let's quickly add relationships here. Very common thing. So this is how you define schemas. You first principles think it's a hoga, and then you have to define how they're related to each other. You can work without that as well, but it's a bad idea. It's always a bad idea to not define relationships between tables. So for multiple reasons, foreign keys give you some strictness to the database, which is a good idea. So which is why we're going to define relationships now. User has no relationships. Abhi, we'll see where they come. Admin has no relationships. Event is created by an admin ID. So we'll define our first relationship here. Okay. Each event has an admin, and each admin has a bunch of events that they might have created. So here is an event array. Here is every event will have an admin, and you have to specify how are these fields related. At relation fields, the admin ID here references the ID field over here. So this is the first relationship that I've defined. What I've said is every admin can have multiple events that they've created, and every event will have a single admin. It's a one-to-many relationship. Now, if I copy this new schema and paste it here, you will notice there is this new relationship that has been added, right? Event has an admin, which points to this event array over here. Or this is a Prisma visualization. In actuality, you just have an admin ID over here. Oh, खाना आया भाई. Hello. हाँ जी सर, साइन तो
मुझे भूख तो लग रही है.
आ रहे. सर food आया भाई, food is 7 moving lift pick up. So this is the first relationship that we have added. Now we can describe all the relationships. These all databases are connected to each other through some fields, right? I've just described one over here, but you can add more. It's always a good idea. उसके बिना भी काम चल जाएगा आपका. It's a good idea to do what I'm doing over here. So let's quickly do that. Every booking has an event ID, which means every event will have multiple bookings. Booking array, and every booking will have a event that it's associated to. At relationship fields, event ID references the ID field over here. That's another relationship that I've added. Every booking will have a corresponding user. So user, which is of type user, and every user will have multiple bookings. Each user can book a Karma event, can book a AP Delo event. So every user will have multiple bookings. It could of course be empty, like they could have an empty array of bookings, which means they've not booked on the platform yet. And here also you have to define the relationship fields. User ID references the ID field over. That's done. I think now if you visualize this, as you can see, more arrows have been added, more relationships have been created through our schema. In our schema. So as we keep doing this, you'll see how all the databases are connected amongst each other. Is there no dark mode here? No, not you. No dark mode. All right. Let's finish the rest of them. Every seat has a seat type ID, so it will have every seat will be of a specific seat type. Every seat type can have multiple seats. So again, this will be a seat type. At relation fields, seat type ID references ID field नीचे. यहाँ पे होगा every seat type will have multiple seats, which will be of type seat array. All right. Seat type ID, booking ID. So every seat will be associated to a booking could have multiple seats. I could book 5 seats for my friends. So every booking can have multiple seats. Array, and every seat is associated to a booking ID. So it will have a booking, which is again a relationship between the booking ID here, which references the ID field. All right. That is done. Event ID is done. User ID is done. Events user, seats over, seat type ID is done. Booking ID is done. This looks fine. Every payment is associated to an event. That is true. You can't really pay unless you're paying for an event. So every payment audit log will also have relationships. User of type user at relation
Feeling hungry, hungry.
Fields user ID references the ID field of the users table, and then every could also have an event. यहाँ पे there will be event ID. And now if I go to the events table, I have to add a payment array here. Every event could have multiple payments, some failed, some successful, and every event could have multiple. Every user could have multiple payments. Again, some failed and some successful. So these are pages people want to see. Like our website will have a existing transactions page where you can come and see all of your payments, and existing booking pages where you can come and see all of your existing bookings, so on and so forth. So this is the final schema that I've written. And this is how you can visualize it basically in a visualizer like this one. So hard. Yeah, you get the idea. Initially we had just the tables. Now we have some relationship between the table. And a good idea to understand relationships, if you come from the SQL world, is just foreign keys. For example,
I like this approach where he does not do like a lot of engineering first, and he goes in, he charts out the basic things that he understands right now, and then he'll look at it.
if I now generate
Because I've seen developers struggling to just make this thing right first, and then that is me. I struggle to make things first fully right, have that conceptual diagram fully correct here. At this stage, I want it to be as correct as it could be, and then go for it. I don't think he is doing that. He is just chilling out. If he's a basic level of planning is done, and then he'll look at it.
a database, for example, let me start a database locally. You can let me start it in cloud if you're following along. What you can do is you can go to neon.tech and get yourself a database. So log into neon.tech. I already have one from last week that I'm going to delete and create a new one. I don't want to. I mean, it's fine. What I was saying was I don't want to create my own stream. You guys will conflict with my database. You guys will start to use my database. But I think not a lot of you are following along. So I think I'll be fine. I'm going to call my app latent backend. I'm going to create this project and copy the Postgres URL from here into my .env file. So this .env file is where you're expected to paste your. Actually, let me do it off screen here so that you guys can't see my database URL. Even if you see it, it's fine for now. This is a temp baby URL. Eventually, probably we won't have this. So I've updated the .env file and pasted my. Oh, you guys can already see it. So it doesn't matter. So let me refresh the password and then do the changes again. So you guys can't see the password. And that's a good idea, I think. So let's see. How do you change the password here? Reset password. All right. Close it. Copy it. And I'm going to paste it in my .env file. I'm doing it off screens just so that you guys can see the password right now. There's no other reason. Even if you see the password, it's fine. All right. Whenever you initialize Prisma, the first thing you do, initialize your schema. Second thing you do, I showed it on screen. It doesn't matter. And then you migrate the database. So how do you migrate? What does migrating mean? Migrating means, okay, if you are, as the name suggests, migrating a database. My database right now does not have any tables. If you look at it, it's completely empty. To add tables over here, user table, bookings table, all the schema that I wrote, Prisma does the heavy work of converting my schema into a bunch of SQL files, and those SQL commands are what are applied, and you finally see the table over here. So after this migrate command succeeds is when you will see a few tables over here. This is standard, workflow you have to follow if you're using Prisma. Let me also commit what I have so that you guys can update DB. Look at the code and the things that have changed. So if you look at the latest commit right now, if you look at the code, you'll be able to see a new package called DB, inside which I've added my schema over here. It has a users table, it has an admin table, so on and so forth. This is the heavy part. Right? This is the part that's very hard for an AI to replace because you design your schema yourselves. You design your relationships yourself. So it depends on you how you want to design your schema. There are 1,000 schemas that will do the same thing or work for this specific application. So how normalized you want to make it, how many relationships you want to add, if you want to shove things together, is all that depends on you. So this one part is definitely where you need to build a lot of intuition and understand relationships, and everything can be built in a one-to-many, many to one-to-one relation. So अगर ये नहीं हो पा रहा अभी, that means you're missing CS. If you're one of those people who's like, yeah, I know one stack but not getting a job, have you ever tried designing a schema? If not, do it. Try designing schemas for complicated apps like these, and that's a good signal of how much coding you know. All right, my database migration has happened. What that means is a bunch of SQL has been generated for me. For example, create table user, create table admin, create table events, and a bunch of foreign keys. Alter table this thing, add this foreign key from this table to this table. If you're one of those people who's like, yeah, I know one stack but not getting a job, you'll I have so that standard workflow you have to follow. After this migrate command succeeds is when you will see a few tables over here. So if you look at the latest commit right now, if you look at you guys those SQL migrating migrating means, okay, if you are, as the name suggests, migrating a database. My database right now does not have any tables. If you look at it, it's completely empty. To add tables over here, user table, bookings table, all the schema that I wrote, Prisma does the heavy work of converting my schema into a bunch of SQL files, and those SQL commands or whatever applied, and you finally see the table over here. So to follow, scan, update, DB. Look at the code and the things that have changed. So if you look at the latest commit right now, if you look at the code, you'll be able to see a new package called DB, inside which I've added my schema over here. It has a users table, it has an admin table, so on and so forth. This is the heavy part. Right? This is the part that's very hard for an AI to replace, because you design your schema yourselves. You design your relationships yourselves. So it depends on you how you want to design your schema. There are 1,000 schemas that will do the same thing or work for this specific application. So how normalized you want to make it, how many relationships you want to add, if you want to shove things together, is all that depends on you. So this one part is definitely where you need to build a lot of intuition and understand relationships, and everything can be built in a one-to-many, many-to-many, many-to-one relation. So अगर ये नहीं हो पा रहा अभी, that means you're missing CS. If you're one of those people who's like, yeah, I know much, that's a good signal of how much coding you know. All right, my database migration has happened. What that means is a bunch of SQL has been generated for me. For example, create this table to this table. So this all SQL was generated by when I ran npx prisma generate. Migrate, and it also migrated my database. What that means is now if I go to neon.tech, I can see a bunch of these empty tables that have been created. Now I'll start to shove data in there through my HTTP layer, but that's how you create a database. Ideally, you should do it locally, but if you don't have time, energy to start, can we use our database in our admin front end, HTTP backend, so on and so forth? We don't have to use it in front end. We're not using Next.js API routes, so our front end will never use the database, only our backend would. So for that reason, we can do a very simple export of our database from here. If we were using Next.js, then I can't do what I'm doing right now. If you were using Next.js, then you would have to do something similar to what is happening in CMS, which is this. You have to write some code that looks like this. If you're using Next.js with Prisma, you have to write this. If you're using Next.js with HTTP or whatever, Express or Node.js, then you're fine. So what you have to do here is, number one, generate the Prisma client, npx Prisma generate. What this does is it generates, if you look at the logs, it clearly says, generated Prisma client over here. So it generates some files for you, and now you can import that specific files that it has created for you. Export client equal to new Prisma client. All right. This was all that was needed. Now we have a fresh module called @repo/db, where I have an index.ts file from where I'm exporting a Prisma client. This client is what I will import everywhere here and talk to my database. Why did you do it separately? Why did you not do it here? Because we need the database client to be in 10 different places.
So you separate out your database layer with the application layer. So it's much easier to manage.
Like admin front, HTTP backend in the future, we'll add the worker backend, so on and so forth. A lot of places where we have to add this, which is why not the best idea to do have the Prisma folder directly in here. You should have it separately as a package and import the package everywhere else. So I'm going to go to my HTTP backend package.json and add a new dev dependency now. One thing I've missed. One more thing you have to do when you're creating packages is you have to export whatever you want your package to export. So one thing you have to do is go to package.json, add a new section here called exports, and export the ./source/index.ts as client. I'll come to what this means, but if you've ever gone through a turbo repo tutorial, you probably know what this is. Whenever you create a package, you have to export that package explicitly, add a new dependency @repo/db. The database package I've created, I've exported things from there. I'm going to package.json, adding a new dependency in HTTP backend to that DB package. What that will do is, if I do a global pnpm install, I will get that dependency here. @repo/db comes as a dependency in HTTP backend. So now I can go to my whatever source routes user.ts, import client from @repo/db/client. So @repo/db is the name of my package. If you remember, DB package का नाम क्या था? DB package का नाम था @repo/db, and I'm exporting @/client this specific file, which is how I can import it over here. @repo/db/client is exporting this client variable. If I have over it, it reaches this specific file where I wrote the Prisma client or exported the Prisma client. And now life is simple, right? All I have to do is client.user.create, and whatever phone number, data, phone number is phone number. There you go. Or we can clean the schema at the very least this and call this number. And it gives me an error. I think I have to pass in the name. So let me make the name optional for now. Let me go back to the schema and let me make name optional, or @default empty string, or you can name it anonymous if you want. Either is fine, but that way, even if I don't pass in the name over here, I won't see a type error. So I have added a default field here. I have to remigrate my database. So I'll have to run another command called packages db migrate dev name db or whatever, made name optional, because that's sort of what I'm doing. This will migrate my database and make the field optional in the database as well, or not optionally. Like this won't really do anything in the database. I think no, it'll create a new SQL command that will default the string to be an empty string. But more than that, when I run the next command, which is generating the client, it will fix this type error that I'm seeing. It's expecting me to give name over here. I don't have any name. I could have also done this. that would have also worked. Actually, let's just proceed with that. But I've also added a default name in case I don't pass it, all right? So that is done, and here I can simply return the user ID. So const user equal to.
It's better to pass defaults because if you do this and the data overhead increases, so slightly, but if your scale is too large, then it matters.
Await this thing, and here I can run user ID. अब यहाँ पे problem क्या है? What is the one big problem here? It is that people might come, put their phone number, leave the app. After 2 days, might again put the phone number. Second time when they sign up, this will crash because it'll try to create a new user. So what do we have to do here? We have to do a create. Okay, how do you create or return? Find or create. Prisma find or create. That's what we want. So we want if it exists, then return me it. If it doesn't exist, then put it in the database and then return it to me. I think upsert here. Upsert where this thing create this thing. All right. So I don't want to insert. I want to upsert. If it already exists, if it doesn't exist, then create it like this. Where number is this thing. Create this thing, update, do nothing basically. There you go. So this is a better thing to do. Don't do create. If you do create, first time the user signs up, goes to their app, puts their phone number, clicks on submit, sign up request goes, OTP goes, the user leaves the application for some reason. Next day they come back, signs up again, this will crash. This request will not be able to insert again, which is why we're doing an upsert. What does upsert do? If it does not exist, insert.
This is smart.
If it does exist, return. So we get the user, return the user ID, and one extra thing we have to do here is send OTP to user. This is going to be a little bit. Here we'll have to deal with Twilio and look at their APIs and understand how you send this OTP over the wire. Let's wait for it. Let's finish the sign in endpoint first. And we also have to do this only in a specific case. So if process.env. What was the env variable we were pushing? Node underscore env is not equal to production. Is equal to production. Only if we're running the application in production should we send an OTP to the user. Otherwise, we shouldn't. If we're running it locally, if we're running tests, no need to send the OTP. It'll just rack up your Twilio bills. So this would only run during prod mode and not run during dev mode. Now comes the ugly bit of figuring out OTPs. Before that, get the phone number. Saying, यहाँ पे just set the user to be verified. Actually, यहाँ पे name भी आएगा, phone number आएगा, and what the other thing that will come is the name. So यहाँ पे I can do a client.user.update where number is this thing. Set the name. And
Harkirat does not care about a lot of software development principle. He cares about building the product fast. That's what I've seen,
set the
which is good. It's not bad thing to do.
set verified to be true basically. That means the user has verified themselves. By
He would
giving us
have
their
failed
OTP.
my
So we know for a
code
fact that they have this is their phone number and so on and so forth. So just update it and return them their token. So now we have to add apps http backend pnpm install JSON web token at types / JSON web token import
But he types very fast.
JWT from JSON web token, and then here you can do a
His brain capacity is high. He can work for a long time. He can go and do a lot of work. Sitting. That's good.
const user ID equal to await this thing. Make this function async and return the token here where the token is generated like this. There are a bunch of flaws here. Like there are better ways to do token generation. This is a very infinitely available token. You should have expiries, you should have refresh tokens, so that if your token gets leaked, people can't keep re-logging in. So I wouldn't call this the best approach to generate tokens for an app like Latent, where you know that you're going to have a lot of traffic. So we should change this eventually to some sort of access refresh token pattern, so that if your tokens get leaked, you're still fine, and we can revoke your tokens if need be. All right, JWT.sign user ID and JWT password. Where JWT password for now I'm going to export from a config.ts file. Export const JWT password equal to process.env.jwt underscore password or 1 to 3 random. Import it from there, sign the token and return it to the end user. Simple enough. Only thing that's left now is sending OTP to the user where we have to use the Twilio API. So a bunch of things there. But before we get there, git add triple dot git commit added sign up endpoint db calls. And then whatever send OTP to user. We'll add the Twilio thing. Let's do a break. How's it going? I have to drink coffee. Do you guys understand what's happening right now? The Keychron Q3. I think that's yours. I just ordered coffee. That's yours. Last leak. That would be nice. I guess pick a song.
No.
Or two. Do you want one?
You are
Do you can think of another, Redis plus database approach where you might need one? Do you can think of another? There might be. All right, guys. Any distributed locks required? There might be. Not in the current approach we're taking. Do you can think of another, Redis plus database approach where you might need one? All right. Any more questions, guys? We'll take a 5-minute break. I do like Red Bull, but trying to cut down. Abhishek Tomar, are you Abhishek from Super 30? The thing that shows my keys in the bottom left. Here's the password to my SSH key. What is an SSH key? It lets you do passwordless login, bunch of things. Lets you go to a database. It's a way to identify yourself to a server. You can generate one without a password. It's a bad idea though. If someone over here comes and steals it from my laptop, then I'm screwed. That's why there's extra addition of this password on top. Now you know my password. You still need my SSH key to do anything with it. That I'm not showing, right? I'm not avoiding just pick one. No, they're very similar. Like it's just, the command that you're running is different. Podcast with Varma would be very nice. I'll try to get in touch. If you're able to build it well. But yeah, I mean, we're on the clock. Honestly, 21st was the launch date, or is the launch date, which is very close. Yeah, you should contribute. I'll get issues. Like the most actionable issues, honestly, are anything that I'm not coding today. So anything front-end related. If you create a landing page, great. If you are creating it, make sure it's structured well. You're using Storybook, adding stories everywhere, so on and so forth. So yeah, that I would suggest that. Pump when very soon. Very soon. Oh, Chaitanya's here. It's not just practice now. No, so it doesn't matter. Use whatever ORM you want. Don't use an ORM. Doesn't really matter too much. There are no more Super 30s coming. So there's no criteria anymore. Earlier it was a 1-on-1 where I would even look at the code base. But on the backman soon. I was reading through a blog post yesterday. If you guys don't already follow the Rust subreddit. It's really good. Someone posted it yesterday. I don't know, very controversial check on the top.
Casing Rust, right?
Casing Rust is.
With Tokyo.
Or yeah, whichever runtime. But yeah, would be good. If you get as comfortable as me, man, basically don't stop. Move to Golang or Rust. Very, very important. So keep upgrading. And these languages have their own benefits, which you see in the long run. There are some things you can't really build on. Should not really build in Node. At the very least, you should use Golang. DevOps is starting this week in Cohort 3. Provided I don't know. I'll probably do Accelerator of this week again. We didn't complete Accelerator last week. So I'll be complete Accelerator this week and then DevOps. Like you have a bunch of full stack things to go through, topics to go through still, but I should start DevOps. It's been 6 months now. A lot of devs are waiting. Saturday star seeds. All right. Let's take that recommendation. I don't know what that is. I don't hate it.
Give the toughest idea of a project.
I'm not going to look at my Neon DB. I know you guys have put something weird there. I will look at it off screen. I know. You can't fool me. Let's see. What did you guys put in my Neon DB right now? Refresh. Looks decent. Someone did migrate on top of me, but nothing controversial here. Yeah, okay, back to screen. How to do Twitch level optimizations in WebSockets? What a great question. How to do Twitch level optimizations in WebSockets? How do you build an incredibly stable application of WebSocket?
So what is like the thing that is like Twitch level optimized? Like the stream is very optimized.
No, it's like the frequency of messages is really high.
Frequency of?
Messages is really high. I mean, the standard distributed approach you guys understand. There's a blog post by Discord on how they scale their WebSocket service.
I know. They use different that.
Elixir.
Yeah, that is like 40% or somewhat like smaller, right? So they send some GPs, client will decode. Again, like server will again do that same, right?
Yeah. So, what differentiates a Twitch from a simple chat app? It's that the frequency of messages in Twitch is really high. There are thousands of rooms, all of which are having, let's say, I don't know, some 100 messages a second, which you have to distribute to 10,000 people. Though you definitely can't go away with one server. You need multiple servers. You need all of them communicating with each other. But more than that, you need beyond a point. I mean, basically, there's a very common approach to scale WebSocket servers, which is have a centralized layer that's relaying messages and have a bunch of WebSocket messages, WebSocket servers in front. That is the standard approach. What you can add on top is how do you decrease the payload size? How do you make sure at that point it matters how small your messages are. So the standard answer there is you don't use JSON, use protobufs. Or something even smaller, write your own protocol, make your message as small as possible, and Yeah, sorry. Make message small. Bring your servers closer to the users. So there's a lot of infra challenges there. Other than of course, building it the way you're building it. All right. Shall we? All right. Let's see. Someone's done what we wanted to be done. Very bad. If you add Twilio, that would be nice. The same as what I had already. All right. Oh, you've written testing chess. That's nice. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, so no database call. So all pretty simple. PRs. I think I can close all of them right now. Cool. Let's proceed, guys. Twilio. Been a while since I've done used Twilio API for messaging. Let me first sign in. I think I have some credits, but I don't know if they have some verification process that we might have to
They,
go through.
like they do. I mean, like they acquired SendGrid, right?
They have
They acquired SendGrid.
SendGrid, yeah.
SendGrid is now a Twilio project,
Right.
and their documentation is so run.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not too hopeful that we'll be able to get, we'll be able to get OTPs running today, but we might get lucky. 198773. What I'm doing is going through my Twilio console and trying to see how they let you do messaging. I think it's something along those lines of you have to create a phone number, which I think we already have one. Yeah, so now comes the messaging service, Super Labs messages. Seems like we already added a few things. Like I did not, someone else was using this. I wish he was here. I think he's not here right now. How do you do messaging in Twilio? Super Labs messages. Seems like this is for incoming messages. Messaging in Twilio Node.js SDK. Oh, you can send MMSs as well. That's cool. So buy a number with SMS capabilities. That's probably going to happen. Here, active numbers, it does have SMS capabilities. Okay, PNPM install Twilio. Import Twilio, import secrets. That sounds, so it looks simple enough. Unsure if we have the right whatever permissions on our account level, but let's try it out. Let's create the worst folder name ever utils. Let's add twilio.ts here. Import Twilio from Twilio, and yeah, that looks decent. Create message. Let's take the message body as the input, which is a string, and to, which is a string, and send the body. And from is the only variable that needs to change a bit. By the way, I think it was a little harsh in the PRs. All the PRs are very good. Depending on where you are, and keep at it basically. So what I will say, yeah. All right. Create message body. This thing from would be the phone number that we already had, which is this one right here. And send message is what I will call in routes slash user slash over here. Await send message. The number and your OTP for logging into latent is OTP. What am I missing here? Why is this wrong, guys? Can anyone tell me? What should I do? Why did my Spidey sense tingle when I was writing this? Oh, it's
lag. That's why.
It's what?
You are speaking to us, but in screen.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, but Sadam.
Yeah, you do OTP for logging. We are taking production, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
How is that good?
Then only production should send a message, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's templated strings basically. Like eventually, a lot of people will be selecting Hindi as their language, so you should receive the message in Hindi and not English. You get that?
We need literalization.
We need literalization. Exactly. And if you don't do that right now, we don't have all of the strings in a single place. Then when you add it later, you have to go through the whole code base, find all the strings, replace them. So it's a good idea to, when you're starting an application, just keep all of these templated strings in a separate file, so that whenever you add internationalization, that's Hindi, English, Punjabi, these languages that the server is going to send OTPs in, you just have to add those literals in a file, and you don't have to go through your whole code base and fill all of these literals. It's a pain to migrate to internationalization basically. So yeah, cool. Try.
How is it like which language does the user wants OTP?
That's a great question. So you usually set that as the part of the cookie. So every request that they're sending in the cookie, they'll have a language preference.
Initially logging.
Oh, initially just assume it to Hindi. Assume it to English, or onboarding when you let the user select. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Choose your language.
Choose the language. Rest.status for 500.json message could not send OTP. Again, another literal string that should be part of a different file. All right, everything is cool. Let's see if it works. One thing I have to do is add a top level .env file where I'm going to introduce my Twilio credentials. So I think I already have them in WhatsApp. Sorry, okay, sorry, my bad. Sent it to like the other person who was working on it. Why do I keep doing this? Okay, you guys saw nothing abhi tak to. All right. So
Also, there is like spin mode in Twilio. That will only send it to your account, so you don't need to worry about that.
okay,
Similar to this. Isn't it?
got it. Twilio. Okay, I can't find it in WhatsApp, so I am going to pretty much create a new whatever API secrets. Let me move this off screen. Oh wow, yeah, there was some personal information here I did not want to expose. All right, preferences, overview, email, phone number. How do I create? So SID I found, token I need to find. I moved everything off screen. Social sign in, preferences, admin. Actually, I can search through my WhatsApp for this specific SID and I'll probably find it. Nope. Twilio home. My first video account. Hold on. That looked like a different ID. All right. And how do I get my auth token? Account management, that's probably it. API keys and tokens. Create API key. Oh, there you go. Test auth token. There's some auth token here, but it says test. Blah, blah. Oh, there you go. Serial auth token, live credentials. Okay, found it, pasted it, closed the file, and hoped. Okay, I never open this on screen again. So I've updated this .env file to have the credentials. Let me add a .git ignore here, which has .env, so that I don't commit it by mistake. Let me also add a .env.example where I'm going to add, the two environment variables that we need. That's this and this, and I think that should be good. Let's see if one more thing I have to do is add .env. So pnpm add .env and go to index.ts at the very top, add a .config. All right, now my env variables should get parsed and whatever picked up over here. So I should hopefully be sending a message to my number now. Let's see if I do a pnpm run dev. If I open Postman, it's already started. So let me stop. All right, that is running. Let me replace this with my own number. So +91. Oh, sorry, off screen. 60. All right, let's see if that happens. Send. Could not send OTP, so that failed. Let's try to log the message. Oh, I'm already logging it. Why don't I see? Okay, this crashes with an exception basically.
The keylogger was there.
Nothing new. Nothing I haven't already shared with the world. So I need to turn off WhatsApp for a bit. 1 second. Yeah, closed it. This is failing, so I probably won't have some access. But I was logging message. Okay, this is throwing an exception basically. So let's put this inside to try. Catch and log the exception. And let's see what's up. And if this does happen, I'm still going to throw. So throw. Alrighty, let's try that out one more time. As I said, nothing you guys haven't seen, so I can actually bring Postman up front, even though I'm not going to. I mean, one thing might be I'm adding a +91. Okay, there you go. We have a good error to look at. Open. We attempted initial, but the two phone numbers was not a valid phone number. Plus country code, subscriber number, including area. So that's exactly what I added. Unless you need a space here and here. Plus, is there a space here? Give me an example. But I did not add any space. Okay, hold on. When you were sending from, what did the format look like from the talks? Oh, there were spaces. No, there weren't spaces. Yeah, there weren't any spaces. Phone number. That looks right. Anyone know what I'm missing? Do just check the arguments. Did I? Oh, am I swapping arguments? Body and 2.
Probably need a space between that, right?
I don't think so. Oh,
Probably not.
thank you, sir. No, I was missing. I was passing the wrong arguments. Somebody in chat told me.
Oh.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yep. Yep. Sorry about that. I know it's frustrating when you know the answer and the other person is going in this direction. All right, send. That looks very good. Very good, very good. And I have received a message. Let me show you guys. The message says, if you guys cannot read, the message says your OTP for logging into latent is whatever the OTP is. So that was easier than I was hoping. It would be a good sign up done, sign in done. Yeah, perfect. Now I received another message, surprisingly. I know my keylogger is on. Cool. So stop calling me. I know you guys are very smart and have my number, but let's not do this. Verify. So what I have to do now is go to Postman and send a sign-in request and hope that well, the OTP won't be valid anymore. So let me quickly try the sign-up flow on a side machine so you guys don't see my number, but I'm sending a sign-up request that will send an OTP. I'm going to send a sign-in request with the phone number, the OTP, which is what I received on my phone. I'm also logging it, so it doesn't matter. 617993, 617933, I think. And name, I'm going to give myself harkirat. Oh, it's not sign in, it's sign up / verify. User / sign up / verify. So I'm hitting this endpoint now with the right OTP and I get back a token. So, this is what the response that I got back. I can't show it because I have my phone number there. But this is the response that I got back, which means when I go to / sign up / verify, I'm able to, whatever, sign in or get back a token and I can do whatever I want with the token. Now comes the easiest bit, which is the sign in endpoints. Can we quickly build them? There should be a sign in endpoint and a sign in verify endpoint, which will pretty much be the same. The sign in endpoint needs to do what? The sign in endpoint needs to generate an OTP, get the phone number, generate an OTP. Doesn't have to do any of this. Just needs to be rate limited a little bit. I haven't done that yet. We'll do that soon. And here I can simply send message, OTP sent, and then / sign in / verify is going to do what? It doesn't need the name anymore, just needs the number and the OTP.
They actually don't you think both of them will be same?
They're very similar. One doesn't have a bunch of database calls, but other than that, yes, very similar.
Yeah.
One. Yeah, this one's the token now, and I think I saw a bug in verify. This will be user, and this will be user.id. All right, time to write the tests. We have made sure. One thing you have to make sure is the OTP defaults to something else in dev mode. So I'll add another function in utils called export function get OTP request process.env.node equal to production return rec.body.totp else return string, and in both the places I'm going to do const OTP equal to get OTP rec comma, yeah, that's good enough, and I'm going to replace this with OTP. Oh fuck, yeah, this won't work. Yeah, we need more dev prod logic now. Yeah, you don't need this function anymore. Sorry, get rid of this.
You could have just made on demo verify token with the secret.
Yeah, that's a better approach or a cleaner approach. OTP is this sign in pay p. Sorry, sign up verify pay. And one thing you have to do is if process.end.underscore env equal to production and so here is some code repetition that you guys should fix. This verify token only needs to happen once. Yeah, this sign up should be sign up, should probably be user or something like that. Generate token plus number, verify token plus sign up, and yeah. Const sign up underscore pad equal to or whatever. Underscore TOTP underscore pad equal to. Wow. What's a bug here?
I can see that.
Oh, but forget everything. Was this good or the thing that I had done?
Where?
Here.
TOTP goes to generate token number plus sign up. So there is bug in this line.
Is there? Yeah, but is there like a security vulnerability here?
Security bounty.
security vulnerability. So OTP generation ऐसे करने में भी जब sign up endpoint आप hit करते हो, it will generate an OTP for you. And I'm generating the OTP like this and sending it to the user. I'm using this function from an external library and passing it an input. It takes the input and hashes it to a number.
Okay.
Every 30 seconds that number changes. This will time का भी factor होगा. So what am I missing here?
What are you missing? Like the phone number is valid, invalid, that's it.
No, something more. Come on. Security थोड़ा सा infosec.
What is it saying there? No, looks good. I don't know. Is that line only mistake? Like there is only the problem there only. No idea.
Someone message.
Hello. Ignore.
Anyone in chat? No.
Oh yeah. Is it security key?
A secret key. Yeah. Basically, if you run the same logic on your machine, you get the same OTP. You can get an OTP for any user in my application.
Oh okay. I see. Yeah.
So there should be another secret in here.
Oh okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But I thought like sign up was itself a secret.
That's not secret. It's a public thing, right? It is sort of a secret, but
Yeah, because like
our code base is open source, so it isn't.
okay, that makes sense.
All right. There we go. Yeah, that's much better. And I should probably create my own function, honestly. यहाँ पे.
What is like TOTP? Is it like different?
Yeah, it's just this time-based OTP. Alright, that's good. Verification would be very similar. Export function, verify token, number and type. Number plus type. Was user.spec.ts. We had a sign up endpoints thingy. We'll have a sign in endpoint thingy where I'm going to send a request to /sign in with my phone number. That will send the OTP. Then I'll send this thing. Of this code base, there's no way for us to know if what branches are sign in. Weird approach of testing that we've taken so that this code base can test a Golang backend also, a Node.js backend also, Rust backend also will cause a bunch of problems. Specifically, we won't be able to mock a bunch of requests. As I said, this is very close to an end-to-end test. So whenever you're starting the backend, you have to start it with the database, and so you can't really mock a bunch of functionality. That would be nice if you weren't writing tests this way. Okay, sign up is done. Sign in is done. Let's test it out. npm run test. Go to the backend. Address already in use. Okay, something failed. Yeah, that's a problem. Seems like it crashed the backend. So that shouldn't happen. But it absurd. Why did that crash the backend? Let's run it one more time. npm run test. Go back to the backend and it crashed. Where ID number present? All right. Create. Absurd पे नंबर है तो भाई डॉट फोन नंबर भेजा है और यहाँ पे क्या गया है अच्छा यहाँ पे नंबर जा रहा है आई थिंक नंबर ही रखते हैं यहाँ से दैट्स गुड लेट्स रिप्लेस फोन नंबर विद नंबर एवरीवेयर दैट इज व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्ट साइन अप we should check if the user exists or not. So if user doesn't, this endpoint, yeah, we should check if the user exists or not with that phone number. If they don't, we should throw right then and there. So not use. Oh, daisy. app.use this thing. Request response error. Okay, what was the problem again? Why would be throwing? Yeah, this should throw because the user already doesn't exist in the database. Then we should get back a 500 status code or better status code. But this is fine for now. So in the tests now I can add another test. Spec. Okay, sign in doesn't work for user that doesn't exist in the database. Doesn't work for user who doesn't exist in DB. Plus 1, 2, 3. If I send a sign in request, I want it to throw. So what was the syntax for throwing? Expect to throw. So expect not to throw. Async. Cool. I've written a few more tests. If I send a sign in request with the invalid number or a number that doesn't exist in the database, this should fail. We should add a bunch of Zod validations. I haven't added them yet. If I do, then I'll add a few more tests for those Zod validations. But let's start the backend and then let's run the tests one more time. Again, the tests are taking a long time. And Twilio happened. Hold on. Why am I sending requests to Twilio when I run npm run dev, which I don't think it should change anything, but let's do this still. HTTP backend is up. Let's try to run the tests again. They're failing like crazy. That means the backend is going to crash again. Why is it sending Twilio requests? I've missed something obvious in sign in, I think. Equal to production only, then send this production and this. What am I missing? Oh, chat is dead. What am I missing, guys? Something obvious I missed. Tests are failing. I know you guys can already see it. So why should I spend? App.use has no URL. Sign in, verify. What was happening? Backend is up. When I run the tests, this sign request is expected to throw. Probably does throw. As soon as I run the tests, this thing fails. But the funny thing is, it fails with a Prisma dot code found none. That is fine. That should have been fine. That should have also been caught. The bigger question is, why am I still calling Twilio with this number that looks like my number only? Do I have this in my database? Oh, I do. Okay. So why is the control reaching here at all? Look at the call stack, user.js, this thing. If process.env is equal to production, so you're telling me I'm running it in production mode. Which endpoint is this? Sign in. So if I go to user.ps and look at the sign in, second test makes sense. Try that one more time. Can any of you change the credentials to the database? Oh God, I can't believe I'm spending this much time on sign up and sign in. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I'm missing something very obvious here. Send message, where are you being used? Two places, check hai, check hai. Both the places I have a check. Console.log env is something to log union bhai. Oh God. I failed somewhere in adding the global catch. I'll debug it. Let me just add this inside a try catch for now. Status. We can also give a better status code this time. Message user invalid. All right. npm run dev and npm. Sorry, we run the tests. It's taking too long. env is production. Why? Inside sign message. Why is env production? When I do a npm run dev, I set node env equal to dev and do an npm runs. Fuck. I'm such an idiot. wait. Oh, that's fine. So in these dev, that's good. One pass, that's good. Two of them are still failing backend is fine. Expected to throw an error, did not throw an error. Phone number 1, which is this thing. Sign up, that sends an OTP. Sign up, verify, that lets you verify. Why is the sign in request failing with phone number 1? And it is working with phone number 2. That's very weird. Look at the code base. PNPM and dev should put some logs to make sure. So sign in is failing when it shouldn't and not failing when it should. So let's do a console.log number and then after number start the backend, start the tests and wait for it. It'll fail most probably. Oh wow, alrighty. This time it's probably not connecting to the database. This is the phone number and then it failed. Why did it fail for this phone number? Considering we've already signed up for this phone number. Can't reach database. That's just the database being flaky. That's why you should run databases locally. Try it one more time. Failed again. Yeah, failed again, the same thing. Either one of you is messing up with the database or Neon is being Neon, which happens from time to time. Let's see. Oh, my internet is also very slow. Probably one of the reasons. Why is my internet so slow? How are you guys seeing my video? The internet is so slow. Or Neon is messing, I don't know. How is it going? Let me get chat for a bit. My phone number is not real, that's why. You are not hitting that. You're not sending the phone number and sign in, verify endpoint test. Am I not? You are right, I think. Sign in, I am sending it. Sign in, verify, I am not sending it. So this is one good thing to observe. That probably fixes this one. Here I am sending it. This was not caching for some reason, which is very weird. And okay, Neon is back. Let's look at the users table. Yeah, that looks decent. npm run dev, start the backend, run the tests. At least one thing we've changed now. Hopefully one of the tests succeeds. The duration is really long. It shouldn't take this long. And also again, the database crashed. So I'm going to start my database locally. It seems like, yeah, database is messing up. So Docker, I'm moving my database to a local database. Unsure what has changed. Yeah, I can't even guess honestly. A lot of times Neon, you're not able to connect, especially if you connect via VPN. I did not connect via VPN, so I'm unsure why this is happening. So what I'm going to do is start Postgres locally. 5432, see Postgres. Nope. -p54. There you go. All right. I'm going to start Postgres locally. That means in this .env, I'm going to replace this with Postgres : my super secret password. Oh, daisy. At the rate of localhost / Postgres. Don't need this. After the database starts locally, I'll migrate it and then we'll go from there. So again, what I'm doing is I'm starting the database locally because I'm not able to connect to Neon. That could be because one of you guys changed the password or because this Neon is being Neon. That happens from time to time. Especially when I remember when I used to connect it from any hotel, in India or outside, it would give me troubles. When I connect via VPN, it also gave me troubles. So that's my guess right now. It's only 12. That's pretty good. We were hoping to finish the PRAD functionality by 12. That means AI is coming, guys. I think the rest of the endpoints I'll sprint through. Let's look at the endpoints again. Maybe some of you have written it already. But these were the endpoints. Oh God, we've only done 2. Fuck. Yeah. Time to sprint, folks. That's what happens when you write tests. We've been slowed down because we've written tests and the tests are failing right now. The logic is most probably correct, but again, we're taking the conscious decision of writing the test, which is why, we'll be a little slower, but that's fine. It helps when, this project will be maintained by a bunch of people. It's a good idea to have, the benchmark of tests so that everyone is writing tests already. Migrating the database, cd db migrate. Oh, sorry, wait. As you can see, everything happened fairly quickly, and that is because now my database is local. Now let me start the backend and run the tests. And as you can see, they fail quickly, so that's good. Sign in endpoint works. Sign up endpoint suddenly began failing. Expecting this to throw, but it didn't throw. Probably because I added the top level catch. So let me, no, that shouldn't be it, per se. Shouldn't change anything. Backend looks pretty working fine. This thing after this thing and this thing and should throw an error. What am I missing? User router. Sign in. I log the number, find first or throw. If it throws, then we catch it. Then we send a 411 status code, which should throw. That's fine. Let's debug the sign up. Oh, that's not throwing either. Okay, let's do this. I expected this to throw. It's not throwing. So let me do this. Console.log status is status. And if you look at the logs, I get a 200 status code here when I'm trying to sign up for the second time for the same user. Oh, that's because that's fine. Index.ts user can send the sign up request more than once. See, tests are good. Yeah, user will send the request more than once. You should not prevent them. After they're verified, you should probably prevent them, but that'll make testing really hard because we're not having random phone numbers here. So for now, I can get rid of that first test. That makes 2 of them pass. Now the question is, why is this one passing when I'm passing a username? That doesn't really exist in my database. So env is this. Phone number is getting logged, which means if you look at user.ts, this number is getting logged. Control doesn't come here, which means this throws an error and it should return a status code of 411. Const rest equal to this thing. Console.log rest.status. Let's restart the backend. Reload the tests, and now if you look at the status, the thing that gets logged is empty. It does throw. Why is that a problem then? Expected it to throw an error. It is throwing an error. It is an async function. I am awaiting inside. That means it should throw an error. Okay, let's try this. Throw new error. Okay, that's not how you catch an error then. It's that. Unhandled rejection. Async function. Post just catch error status code. All right. I think they will suggest putting it inside a try catch, which is not the approach I wanted. I just spy on console. Axios.get dot. We cannot mock. I mean, we can mock values as well. So this might work as well. Why do they have a log spy? Saying axios.get dot mock result value once with this error. Okay. Await get total price. Yeah, we can't do that. We can't call a function like this. That we can mock.
वो error throw करेगा ना axios dot post तो उस लाइन तक तो कोड ही नहीं पहुंचेगा
किस line तक?
this status easy है तो यहाँ तक तो कोड ही नहीं आएगा ना
If it is throwing, then why is the test not succeeding then?
तो two throw error होता है ना क्या
Fuck, that was it. Thank you, sir.
चला नहीं
चल जाएगा, I think. नहीं. This is throwing for sure, but the both error is not catching it. Right. So new error. Now if I do this.
Did you restart your backend? No, right?
Oh, that's probably it. No, the backend restarting doesn't matter. Why would, this is the backend code, right? This is the front end code. Sorry, the test. So I don't have to restart the backend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. इसमें क्या missing है? This is wrong. There's a different way to catch errors and jest or whatever. Retest then. Like, this should succeed, right? Wait, is this test failing or is this? Yeah.
What is the error message? It doesn't mean that the
error hui this might cause for stress. Could one handle error in the runtime? Expect async. Hold on. Fuck. No, I think it's fine.
I think no. Like this.
Nah, I don't think that'll work. This is good enough. I don't think there's anything wrong. Expect. Okay, let's make it sync. Not that would. Wait. I made it sync. It fixed it. Hold on.
Do this not IIFE like
What?
like you do in the React use effect. Will that work?
I doubt it. This won't work either. This is needed for sure. To throw error with async.
By test, right? You need to write that, I think, specifically.
Await expect. Nope, did not do anything. Dot rejects, dot to throws. Await expect. this thing. Dot rejects. Oh, fucking A. There you go. Cool. Alrighty. That is how you catch a failing error. Sign doesn't work. Doesn't already exist in the database. If I send this, then the test fails. If I send this, it succeeds. Alrighty, guys. Boy, I don't know how it was working before, but this is how we're catching errors now. I think the approach that we took in the metaverse application was much better, where we hacked the Axios. If you look at the test for the metaverse application, for all the, I don't remember the repo name, but for all the failing tests, yeah, to the metaverse, we had something like this. Let's go to tests. We had a global variable called Axios that looked something like this. That yeah, basically would do what you see on screen. It would catch any errors and then just return the response in case the error was the request failed. And that way, our tests look much cleaner. Expect response status to be 200, or I could do expect response status to be 400 or something like that. With this approach of that we used in this thing in the metaverse application. All right, let me add another file here called axios.ts. The argument data, I think arg can just be if you have to fix the types only. So post will look something like this thing: URL data and config, which is axios2.config, axios2. This thing sync and return res or promise of from safety here. Yeah, the type checked in the service. So this is why I haven't done all of this. As you can see, I don't get it now, and so that's what we're going to do next. Added auth tests push. समझ wants to write. आप गाना सुनो तब तक हमारे हम 5 मिनट में have back. करेंगे और जल्दी से दूसरे पार्ट में मूव करेंगे the good one. So I'll write the tests for the events and everything, which is everything that you see over here, profile events, and then the admin routes. Oh god, lot of skill point. The thing is yes. Notification.
Be done.